Let's not record that.
Yeah, I'll edit that part out. But Troy, dude, cheers, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Bro.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
hopefully being
Pleasure,
warm
man.
today. And bringing the
A little bit
pints.
of ASMR there right at the beginning,
Yeah,
you know?
just get a little close to the camera. So, for people who don't know you, or actually help me out, take me through kind of your like who you are and like your journey from your life, like leaving like kind of high school, post-secondary school to kind of where we are now, and we can go back through it full circle.
How about we get into the nitty-gritty of high school itself? Because that's a pretty crazy experience, right?
Perfect. Let's do it.
Like, so to like create a foundation here, I grew up in a really small town. So I grew up in a town of like 4,000 people. It's called Iroquois Falls. It's like maybe like 4 hours away from the city.
It's cold, eh?
Isn't it just genuinely cold though?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
it is cold, yes,
Yeah.
and lots more snow. A hell of a lot more snow, man.
Jeez.
But Iroquois Falls, like okay, so you have a city that sometimes cities have small mentalities, right? So when you have like the 250,000 people, you have, let's say, you have a lot of people, then you have like a big space, but like you have that small mentality, lots of drama, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Now condense that into like 4,000 people, and then put everybody in a high school, right?
No.
You're like, okay, lots of personalities, lots of flavors.
Amazing.
Right? And I went through some
Flavors.
pretty weird, not experiences, but like growth experiences where it's like, okay, like this is who I am as a person, and then you like kind of like flip flop. You're like, no, okay, I went through that phase, on to the next. So that in itself is not very friendly in Iroquois Falls, because it's like Iroquois Falls is like, you like motors, you like skidooing, you like, like going fishing and hunting and stuff, which I do enjoy.
Yeah.
I love all those things.
Sure.
But like I'm also a nerd, and I'm like, back when being a nerd wasn't cool, right? Like, I know that's dude, I'm like aging myself already, but like the reality is like when I grew up in high school, like being a nerd was not cool,
it wasn't something that everybody
like it just wasn't a
does
thing.
a little bit.
Yeah. So then from there, like the whole high school experience of me like figuring myself out was like in itself a challenge. And then it's like ultimately actually what like brought me to martial arts, because I ultimately wanted to do something as a kid. I've always wanted like a hobby or something to like put myself into, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And it was like really challenging because we just didn't have the funds as a family.
Right.
So then moving forward from like not having the funds and like trying to like always wanted to play hockey. Iroquois Falls is a hockey town.
No, of course.
It was like I just wanted that. I just really, really wanted that. So I showcased that, and it was actually my biological father that brought me into ultimately martial arts, judo. Actually.
Oh, sick.
And this was like in that like in when you like in high school, it's like that nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Like
experimental phase.
But
almost.
like you're just awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're awkward. There's tons of emotions, bro.
Oof.
Like you just have some like really interesting experiences with your own like existence kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, my biological father like grew up outside of my life, and then he came back into my life, and I kind of like voiced the idea that I didn't have access to these things in high school, whether it would be sport or hockey or whatever. I really wanted to play hockey, and he was like, well, there's a judo club underneath my apartment building, and there was like 8 people, bro. Like it was just like a super small gym. Yeah, super small gym. Sensei Paul Prue actually was the man.
Out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jack by Judo. It's not even a thing anymore, man. It's
really?
crazy. Yeah, because like that's
man.
how weird Iroquois Falls is sometimes. Like you have something that's really amazing, like pure, but like small mentalities will like gravitate to the like the silly things in life, like alcohol abuse, like substance abuse, getting in trouble. Like was like you had nothing to do as a kid. Outside of those hobbies,
she just messed around a bunch and
just made stupid decisions.
Dance battle.
But then so like ultimately when it came down to martial arts, like it came down to like starting judo and stuff. That's when it's like I was able to like break out of this like really uncomfortable phase of high school. Yeah, of like, okay, I know who I am now. I really like judo. I really like martial arts. this door was open for me. And then from there, graduating high school and like leaving Iroquois Falls and coming to Sudbury was when I left judo. I kind of like, I know this is gonna sound funny, but like there was like me trying to like find martial arts again as soon as I left. It
like
was
a better situation almost.
Oh man, but like I don't know, man. It was just weird. Like, do you ever have something in your life that like you're so passionate about it? Well, no, like you can't even live without it essentially, and it's not like it's not in an addictive type of way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that when you do the activity, it like sings to your soul kind of deal.
Yeah.
Do you share a similar?
I have. If I don't do, this might be a way of like how I've experienced that, but I'll use jiu-jitsu as a commonality. But with jiu-jitsu and the podcast are two things that if I don't do them for like longer than like a week or two, I get like really bad anxiety. That I almost like I'm like nothing fixes it. I'm like I could lift weights, that won't solve it. I can go hang with friends, that won't solve it. Nothing gets me. As soon as I go back on the mat, I'm like okay. And I was like I could either. Those times are like usually the toughest ones, and I build them up in my head where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get killed today because I've been off for 2 weeks. But then you're missing that like you're talking
about jiu-jitsu at that point.
Specifically, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna get killed today on the streets of.
Oh God, no! Thankfully, not here. So doing that, I'm like, oh man, like this is not gonna be good. And then I go, and it's actually like a pretty like smooth session. I don't feel like I've lost too much in that time. I do feel like I'm like I shouldn't have done that, but when I do it, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I'm in, like, an element. I just, like...
Do you think the anxiety is, like, a FOMO thing? Fear of missing out?
Yeah, I think
like, you feel
so.
like you're regressing kind of deal?
Yeah.
And the same with the podcast. Like, exactly. I 100%. So, like...
Exactly, yeah.
We can branch into a million conversations
For sure.
here. But, like, passions as well as, like, writing. I've always wanted... I'm writing a book right now. I've been trying to write I've been trying to devise a fantasy realm from scratch, like building my own universe. And it's something. But like if I feel like I take myself away from that, I get nervous and anxious about the idea that I'm regressing. I'm not doing the thing that I said I was going to do essentially, right? And then it's like, man, like how can I redirect myself? And like redirecting myself, the anxiety is like a power to that. Like it like pushes that forward of like, no, I need to do this. I said I wanted to do this, so I'm going to do this.
Interesting.
That actually in itself drove martial arts after I left high school. Because like when I came to Sudbury, I went to Cambrian, and the college experience is something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like absolutely amazing. Like it wasn't like the movies like Hollywood always like overhypes things, right?
Everything.
And it just wasn't. Like I had fun, it was great, but I went there to actually like learn something, and then you find out that like the programs there, and like sometimes it's a meme, man. Like specifically trades programs, but like they just like really want you to show up. Essentially, is what they want.
It's just like a.
So then after like the whole experience with college and like pushing that away. I know this is funny because I found Jesse Cronier at Cambrian. So Jesse and I knew each other way prior, like back in the MSN days. MSN days. Let's go.
Wow.
So I knew Jesse way before, and Jesse was like in his music. He was in a
video game, dude.
Yeah,
I know what MSN. It's like, man, is that
what is MSN?
I'm dating
myself. AOL, bro.
Way,
imagine that. Now we're going way. Nah,
I don't know.
I didn't actually. AOL was like the previous version, so there was like.
Oh wow.
AOL was like basically like a prototype MSN. Jesus. It was something, dude. MSN fucking. We spat fire on MSN, bro. Like, come on, man. You come home after school, right on MSN, bro. Talking to all the cuties. Come on, bro. That's what it's all about. But I knew Jesse. I knew Jesse from there. He was in a music phase.
Yeah.
And but then he said he was moving to Sudbury to do kickboxing, and then that's when his like whole experience kind of blew up from there.
Yeah.
And man, the story is hilarious. It's hilarious because I have to admit something. So Jesse, I was trying to follow your girlfriend at the fucking party that we were at because I thought she was cute. And so, like, I was trying to talk to this girl, okay? And then it kind of, like, led me to him. It was the weirdest thing. But
like you didn't know they were together.
No, I had no idea.
I just want to make sure that
I had no idea. But then when we met up and he's like, oh, yeah, this is my boyfriend, Jesse. I'm like, dude, Jesse, like, holy fuck, bro. Like, what's going on right now?
This is crazy.
And then he immediately opened the door to martial arts. So that's how fucking weird that experience was.
Like, you were supposed to do that.
But, like, think of the intentions behind the original meeting, though. Like, I'm like, I think this girl's cute.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, following her to my destiny of then doing jiu-jitsu for the next 11 years of my life and finding my craziest passion. Like, that just doesn't even make sense. But
that's so cool, though, like, looking back on things like that in time periods and going, wow, like, that's... I can't believe it had that much... Like, something so small at the time. It was like, oh, yeah, I met this chick, she's cute. And now it's like, it's all for a reason. I'm meant to do it. Oh, man, that's wild.
It doesn't even make sense. I run it back, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Nice. But, yeah, so, like, Cronier just, like, introduced me to the gyms in town, or, like, the gym he was training in at the time.
Yeah.
And then it just, like, snowballed from there. I think probably the majority of, like, the after high school thing, like, man, you have no idea of, like, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Even, like, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old.
No.
Like, I think I just had maybe a glimpse of it at 25. And I'm 31 now.
Jeez, eh?
So it's like...
Oh, yeah, you're young as fuck.
I'm young.
Wow. Yeah.
How old are you?
26.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice joke, bro. Appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude,
I actually feel super
I was thinking
good.
about it earlier. I was like, oh, like, how old is Trey? I'm like, he can't be... I'm like, I'm going to say he's young, and then he's going to be like, I'm actually 43.
Whoa.
And I'm like, nah, probably not.
Do I look 43,
No.
bro? Oh,
No,
man.
not for a minute.
I kind of got down on myself there for a second.
You look early 30s.
Damn, dude.
Like 100% look early 30s.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude.
I think your life definitely starts anywhere between 25 to 30. Like,
yeah,
I mean, starts
in
in a sense of, like, understanding.
Yeah, and
like,
discovery and stuff.
Understanding where you stand as a person, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And then in that time, kind of what did you go to school for? Like, what was the...
I went heavy duty mechanic, actually.
Oh, jeez.
It was a great program.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I had a great time learning the trade. It was super fun. Like, Cambrian had a great program.
Yeah.
It really did. They had great teachers too. Like, they were super down to earth. Super down to earth. There was a guy, like, shout out to Fred, man. Like, that guy was amazing. We would show up and he would just, as long as we did our part, he didn't care. He didn't care at all.
Nice.
And we legitimately learned some, like, that guy, you want to talk about, like, traveling the world and stuff, that dude worked for Toromont. So, like, Caterpillar.
Yeah.
And he was, like, a mechanic that they would send all over the world for their machines. And
amazing.
Man, the stories, dude, he would tell in class.
Yeah.
And just...
What's one that he told that stood out for you?
Well, actually, it was more of, like, not the people that he met, but, like, the experiences, like, the bar experiences going into, like, different countries and being in, like, a social atmosphere.
Jeez.
Another thing, too, of, like, him... just, like, the different cultures, too. The different culture thing was, like, pretty legit. But, like, man, to actually pinpoint a story, that's tough. I have, like, a huge memory problem, so... yeah, like, when it comes...
in the head too many times, yeah.
Oh, dude. I attest that to, like, all literally the head trauma that I received as a kid, dude. It's crazy.
Jeez.
But, like, in terms, like, I don't know about you. Do you remember anything from 10 years old down?
No.
Okay.
I might have glimpses here and there.
That kind of makes me feel better. I'm not even going to lie.
Oh, no. That's fair.
I can barely.
Glimpses.
Like, barely. You know how, like, when you remember something, it's like a video feed?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not black and white.
No. Sort of, sometimes.
Is it?
Sometimes.
But, like, it's
Depends
like
on
this,
who's in
it's like these, like pictures running through your mind that creates almost like a video feed. I have almost none of that after 10.
Oh, wow.
Or, sorry, before 10.
Yeah.
Like, almost none of it.
Oh. It's like, I wonder if that's like CTE.
Actually, probably a lot of childhood trauma, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Outside of, like, dealing with a lot of physical abuse, like, it became, like, this thing where, like, like again, like when you grow up in a small town and you kind of stick out, there's like a Chinese saying, I believe it's Chinese, like we'll say saying, I guess in English, would be like the hammer or the nail that sticks out gets hammered.
Oh.
Have you ever heard that before?
No, but like that makes sense.
Right, like it makes sense in a scenario where people are like so similar.
Yeah.
Right? Like 4,000 people, probably like 2,000 of them are like elderly people, and then like 1,000 kids. And then all of those kids enjoy roughly the same thing.
Right.
Right? Whether it be like outside or whatever. And then all of a sudden you come in with like your group of friends and you're like, yo, I like doing this stuff. And it's like, you're kind of fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why are you...
And it's like no harm to anybody. Like the reality is everybody was going through their own experience at that time. But yeah, it definitely changed. Like I had like one of those experiences where, you know, you get bullied to the point where you become the bully. Ugh. It was a terrible experience. I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot.
Was that after 10 or before 10? No, I guess it would be after 10.
No, I was probably about like 13
like
or 14.
Really.
Yeah. And it was like, you ever, actually, I have a question for you. Do you ever have like a teacher that just like had this crazy impact on your life?
Yeah, I have like one from each kind of, one or two from each like elementary school and then high school and fucking college,
Yeah, and like what was the biggest impact on like your elementary? Because like, don't you find like you have way bigger impacts being younger, right?
Yeah, I think they change your course a bit. I remember having, I think more from high school. I had like 2 or 3 from high school, but I think I'm trying to remember one. I don't know if I have one good one from elementary school. Oh man, I think there's just one that like I think it was in grade 6. So actually, here's a great story. So in grade 6, like 5-6 split, I think. I think it was like my math teacher and my English and my French. So my English teacher and my French teacher at the time. One of them was like Mr. DeMarco, and then the other one was like Miss LeBrec. She's now still like a Facebook friend of mine.
Nice.
It's great. And she...
I have a couple of those.
Amazing.
I do. I love them. Like, huge impacts in my life, for sure.
But, so what he did was he kind of made math, like, first time I'd done math in English, and, like, the switch just wasn't working for me, and he just kind of made, like, I can't remember what he did, but he changed my, like, the way I see problems as, like, and I think this is something where, this is where I learned this, like, specifically was... And I get into this debate with people where they're like, oh, well, nowadays kids don't learn, like, why are you solving for X? Like, why is that relevant? And I'm like, well, I understand from a base level why it doesn't seem or come across or appear relevant, but it's not so much what the problem you're doing, it's what your brain is doing to solve the problem is what we're trying to train into students. And he kind of made me, like, he's like, Glenn, it's not the problem you're trying to solve. It's the problem solving skill in your brain that we're trying to develop. Yeah. Like, trying to get those gears functioning. And I was like...
Like, imagine trying to develop a critical thinker as opposed to... That's phenomenal that dude did that for
Which
you.
is... Yeah, man, and that's, like, one thing that kind of, like, stood out from that. And then I had one who was, like... She was a Olympic or national level like runner in her day, and then when she was teaching, she brought in like these every now and then she'd bring in these Olympians to do like speeches or to meet us before and whatever. And this guy Adam Creek, who, so keep in mind I was like 12 or 13 probably at the time, grade 6, and so she brought this guy in and he did this like crazy speech about like what he was doing and like what he was gathering money for. Excuse me. And then doing all this, I don't know how old I would be if I was in grade 6. It'd probably like 10, 11, 12.
Well, you're 13 in grade 9, right?
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, probably like 12. We'll call it 12. 12, 13.
Wait.
10? Yeah, I think...
I thought you said your math teacher said...
Yeah. I was... he didn't teach me how to count. But he...
he didn't teach me math, bro.
Yeah,
he just
like,
made me a
I could solve problems, bro. I just can't...
You would have been like 10. You would have been like that.
So what happened is, so crazy, is this guy, Adam Creek, came... He was one of the Olympians, who came and like did a speech, tell us about whatever he's doing. We're like, cool. I remember, like, I have a photo. I think my first ever Facebook profile photo is, like, me with his Olympic gold medal from Beijing in 2008.
Okay.
And I was like, crazy. dude, last year he came on the show.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and then I told him the story. I opened with that.
That's amazing.
And he was like, and then I sent her the link to it, and I was like, watch the first 2.5 minutes. And she's like, oh my God, that's the craziest thing. That was so long ago. Oh my God. And I'm like,
it had
cool.
Obviously had an impact for sure.
Yeah, so those kind of things that have kind of like, I still think about to this day of like the problem solving, and then like meeting people, coming full circle and meeting them as an adult, and they don't feel they've done much in the time, but you've done all your growing. Because like time affects you differently depending on your age. So I'm like, oh, years seem not as much when you're 60. They don't seem as long. But when you're a 6-year-old, it's like 1 year. It's like a quarter of your life.
Yeah, 100%.
Roughly. So it's like, I look at time in a different way when at that age. It's very weird.
Oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, that was the first set of examples though for...
Your experience with like your teacher developing your critical thinking was like the flip that happened to me for self-awareness.
Yeah.
So like my grade 8 teacher, Luke Vachon, unfortunately passed away. He was like an amazing advocate for mental health, believe it or not.
Wow.
And he had some demons. You're talking about this guy. I need to tell this story.
Mm-hmm.
This guy would come to class sometimes, man. This man's whole life as like an adult was essentially tragedy, and he fell in love, and this is crazy to think about, man, because it's like what the experience that he gave to us through his suffering was amazing, man. But he fell in love. He had a beautiful life, beautiful wife, teacher, pregnant. His wife was pregnant 8 months, and she fucking died in a canoe trip.
No.
Like, and this man woke up on the fucking beach of his crashed fucking canoe with his wife in the fucking water with his fucking 8 months.
Come on.
Like,
that's the worst story I've
and
ever heard.
This man would come into class knowing that we were his kids, bro. Mm-hmm. And there would be times, bro, he would crack and he would cry in his seat, bro, in front of his whole class.
Just break down.
He would break down.
Wow.
Yeah. Like break down, dude. Like he would be crying and leave the class, man. And then the principal would take over and like, bro, wow. It was intense to see. First of all, a man expelling that type of emotion, right?
Yeah,
like we live in a world where that doesn't really exist, or it's like it's like showcasing itself now there, but like this man was like legitimately traumatized, okay? From kid to adult.
Wow.
And then this guy, like I'm in this fucking stage where I think I'm king shit, and I'm like trying to like bully all the fucking bullies that used to bully me in school.
Yeah.
And like because like I was pretty big as a kid. Like I kind of like trained myself to be big. Like it was kind of silly, but like cue the Rocky theme kind of shit where it was like I don't want to be bullied. Yeah. And then from there, cue the idea of me kind of like being like I don't want to be bullied anymore.
Right.
Become this like tyrant myself that like just wasn't. I could have been a lot nicer for sure.
Yeah.
And then this guy stares at me across the fucking room, looks at me in the face, and he's like, Troy, you're a fucking asshole. And it was like, holy crap, I am an asshole. You know, you're like, whoa, like, you're right. You know what I mean? Oh. And then, like, he broke it down. He's like, do you want to be, like, villain arc type shit? You know what I mean? Like, is this your villain arc, bro? Yeah. Because, like, you don't have to go down this path. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, what a life changer. And this is coming from a guy who lost everything. Bro.
Yeah.
And he's staring me at this fucking 13-year-old kid, and he's like, bro, be a better man, basically. Yeah. Like, and it was like, I love you to death, Luke Vachon.
Yeah, rest
Cheers.
in peace. That was
Cheers to that.
Wow, that's a heavy one, yeah.
Yeah, and that fueled me for like most of the time. Where it's like, we just go through some stuff, but like, man, you gotta see the light.
Yeah.
You gotta see the light, you gotta push through that, and then just be like, hey, like, that made me a better person. And don't, like, dwell on mistakes either. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that people do that with high school as well. Like, yeah, man, like, I was a weird-ass fucking kid in high school. Mm-hmm. I went through so many phases, dude.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't regret any of that. And I don't, like, hold that in my soul. And I'm like, oh, man, like, kinda, somebody from Miracle... Oh, shit. Like, no. Hey, how's it going? Like, you don't know me anymore. Like, you're you don't know me anymore. I'm 31 years old, bro. You don't know me
you're a different
anymore.
person.
You know what I mean?
Shedded all that.
Yeah, like
away.
I was able to like transcend that being that I was at 13 years old.
Dude, it's weird. I was having this. I was telling somebody about this because somebody came up to me like Saturday when I was out at having drinks with some friends, and they're like, it was buddy's birthday party, and he was like, there was somebody who came up to me in the Grand and was like,
in the Grand of all fucking places,
and they're
dude.
like, oh my god, Glenn, how are like oh my god, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I heard them go, they're like, oh man, buddy, look, he's at 3 sheets to win, and the guy looks at my friends, he's like, yo, I've known this guy for like 10 years, and I'm like, no, you know the guy from 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know me. I don't play basketball anymore. I don't have a buzz cut. I have facial hair. I know a lot of things now. I've done things that I wanted to do.
It's crazy.
It's like I'm a completely different person, man.
Some people literally take the snapshot of high school and they're like, that's life.
That's how it is.
That's it.
My little brother's the prime example of that.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad.
Shit, man.
Yeah, it's all right though. But I mean, for me, because it's not me. But yeah, no, that's like I know a handful of people like that, and in that, but that's the small town like idea, right?
I 100% agree with you.
Oh, like I've gotten here, grown up, and like I left and came back to like see family, see like grandma who's on the 18th hole of life. I
hope she hits par, bro.
Yeah.
Or wait, birdie.
Birdie, let's go, birdie. Let's go. Me too. Thanks. And so yeah, I would like come back, spend time with them, see them, and then see where the next chapter takes me. But that's kind of what I've seen in like a lot of smaller town people, and I find there's the people who stay, and it's like, oh man, and you're like, dude, like if you go back to Iroquois Falls, I'm sure you like it would all seem the same. But sort of, right?
I think you actually said the answer to why that happens, which is basically people don't leave their hometown and they're left in a scenario where they have absolutely no idea what the world is like outside.
Right. It's all right. So kind of switching gears a bit. You talked a bit about like how martial arts. Actually, you talked quite a bit about how like martial arts kind of like affected your upbringing. When you got the opportunities, it almost led you. Like you were led to it.
Literally. Yeah. Led to it.
Like literally. How'd you get started in like jiu-jitsu? Like how did all that get started? Like how did your get started sober for you?
Man. Kickboxing first. So kickboxing. We use the term kickboxing now, which actually irritates the living shit out of me because it's not we are learning kickboxing, but truly we're learning a very watered down Muay Thai now, which is really unfortunate. Muay Thai is a lot more than just punching and kicking and maybe knees every now and then. All kinds of stuff. Beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful art, and I think that a lot of people are watering it down. It's really unfortunate. But yeah, so I started with Muay Thai with Jesse, which is hilarious because Jesse, I guess, wanted to give me payback on following his girl around at the party because you normally never spar your first class.
Yeah.
And we fucking sparred, bro. And he flying kneed me in the chest and knocked the wind out of me. Man. It was hilarious.
Classic.
It was amazing. I was hooked though. I was like a 19-year-old kid, just like full of testosterone.
I can do this to somebody.
Holy shit.
Let's go.
So from there, did Muay Thai for 6 months. I had my first Muay Thai fight, which was, if you guys have ever not competed in combative martial arts, like, just do it. Just do it.
Is that like a wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu?
Just do any combative martial art and then compete because you want to talk about an experience.
It's insane. It's insane.
Outside of like being like your worst enemy, right? Like you're in your head, you're doing your thing, like
and you're
before
in
competition. And like, don't get me wrong, all competition I think is like that. You go through an experience where you're like, I need to convince myself that I'm ready. Essentially, that's why you just train your hardest, and that's all she wrote. You know what I mean? But when you're like fighting a human being, I don't know, man. There's like something about that experience where you're and then you have like 300 people. Like my first Muay Thai fight, Renzo Gracie was in the audience, bro.
Come on,
like he did a seminar.
What?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy, bro. He did a seminar at Ottawa, and we were fighting Gatineau, and it was like,
That's insane.
it was crazy, bro. Like, it was amazing. Like, did he watch the fight? Man, probably not.
No, I probably watched
You know what I mean?
Dude.
It was
it.
dude, we had the craziest barn burner,
You probably
like,
watched
known
it.
to man. We were literally just throwing hands for.
Like, just would not
I think it was
stop,
like
eh?
3. Is it 3 minute? 3 minute rounds? I believe
think
it's
so,
3.
yeah.
Yeah, 3 minute rounds. 3 minute rounds.
3 threes, yeah.
Madness.
Insane, dude.
Madness of just. You want to talk about CTE, man? That's how you get it.
yeah.
That's where you get it. But
Awesome.
But yeah, so from there, after my first fight, believe it or not, in my fight, I actually got knocked out,
Yeah.
and it was like, it didn't feel good. Like we were in a tie clinch, and I was feeding him knees, and I broke, and he jabbed me, and I was eating jabs the whole fight,
Yeah.
and my legs shut off.
What?
Like it wasn't like when you get knocked out, like your eyes, you're closed, and boom, you're gone. Like, I was fully conscious.
Your legs just stopped.
And my legs stopped working.
Just shut
and I
them
was
off,
like,
eh?
wait a
You're
minute.
like, whoa, they're supposed to be under me.
That did not do well. I
Oh,
remember going
no.
back to my corner and telling my coach, like, yo, I got knocked out.
Yeah,
like, I fell over because I couldn't control my legs. Like, and he's like, don't worry about that, bro. Like, third round, let's go. Just like, damn it, dude.
It's in the past.
Yeah. It actually ended up in a draw, believe it or
Oh,
not.
no way.
Which doesn't even make sense to me, but
No.
fair enough. That's how crazy of a barn burner it was.
Jeez,
that
it was
were
like we
literally
got to
just going.
give both of them a W. 'cause
Basically.
They both can't lose.
And you know what? To this day, like, so I still have that guy on Facebook, and he's like,
No.
he's actually, we were like legit after we went and had beer after. Like, that's another thing about fighting him like another human being in a competitive scenario, where it's like, you either have mad respect for that person after it's done, or you fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's when rivalries truly begin,
Yeah.
right? But most of the time, you just come back and you're like, yo, that was a great, that was a great round.
Awesome,
Yeah, kind of deal.
I felt your all.
But after getting knocked out, it was like after like feeling that knockout and like losing my sense, I was like, man, I kind of want to keep the CPU running as clean as possible. And then
Jeez.
came back to the gym and was like, yo, like, let's try this jiu-jitsu that these guys, like, I have to say it how it is, but like, I was definitely that guy that was like, no, you guys are a bunch of homos rolling around. Like, I was definitely that guy, dude. Like, I would be looking at jiu-jitsu and it's like, you guys are just a bunch of homos in your PJs. Like, I was legitimately that dude, which doesn't make sense to me now.
Yeah, now I'm like,
But it's like, damn.
interesting.
And specifically because I like no-gi better than gi now, which is like, for anyone who's listening, no-gi is where we take like the kimono off, which is like the clothing we wear, the PJs, the clothing we wear. And then gi is obviously we have the kimono on, and they're very different games. Like,
yeah, they're not that close.
they're the experience is very different. And so then
for both a lot.
So Buddy's trying to get me going into the jiu-jitsu for like 6 months as I'm doing Muay Thai, and then all of a sudden I have this experience and I'm like, man, I gotta do jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm. You need to do the combatives martial arts, but not
Get
struck
like,
in the head too much.
Immediately fell in love with jiu-jitsu as soon as I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was like 100, like maybe 105, 110-pound woman that absolutely destroyed me my first class.
Why is that always like? Why is that synonymous with anybody starting jiu-jitsu? Everybody of mine who I brought to like troop, whether it be old location, new location, they're all like, bruh, that chick beat the crap out of me.
Destroyed me, bro. I was 195 pounds of pure
You're a fucking
fucking
machine,
testosterone, bro. And this girl destroyed me.
Strangled you, eh?
She choked me like easily, like 8 times.
Fuck. That's brutal.
I loved it. I had a smile on my whole experience, man.
Dope.
Like this, it's like I can't believe this is actually happening. Like I need to continue doing this, and I was like immediately hooked, man. Immediately hooked.
That's so cool. What do you think? Like, why was that the case? Like, why? Because here's the thing:
the martial arts thing, man. Martial arts.
But check this out. I think there's two types of people who start jiu-jitsu. There's people who don't really like it and kind of like leave, or there's people who start and just like they're addicted. What do you think makes that? Because like separate from your story,
man, that is a
I'm sure
really amazing question. That like coming from now 11 years in
and seeing,
I have seen so many people leave. Yeah, man. I have seen like really amazing training partners leave that man, like I wish that they would come back and we could train again. I wish that we could like break down the walls that some gyms have with each other, that we can train again. Like I wish that we could do all of those things, because there's two particular reasons why I think people stay, which is the camaraderie. There is I believe his name is Tom Hardy, the actor.
Yep.
He's basically using jiu-jitsu to bring veterans into a community, essentially, or a circle that is similar to the military, which is jiu-jitsu. Like, the camaraderie and the brotherhood that you feel in jiu-jitsu is real because of because of that human combative experience that I'm talking about, right? Like, when you fight somebody else, whether, like, picture it this way, okay? So, like, let's say you have a brother, right? Yeah. You guys probably beat the living shit out of each other.
3 of them, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
But guess what?
Well, not
every time it happened,
I beat him up.
Every time it happened, I bet you that when your little brother fucking finally stood up to you, looked you right in the eye, and like came back at you, you were like, "Damn, this guy's got some."
That was pretty proud.
He's got some spunk. You know,
like,
he's got a backbone.
He's not just yapping.
Immediate respect, bro. You gain like an immediate respect there.
Yeah, there is a bit that you're like, okay.
So that you get over time, right? So like when you walk into a gym and you don't know anybody, like let's say you go to a new gym, a new jiu-jitsu gym, of course, and then you go and you meet these guys and you roll with these new guys, girls, and they like offer you something in your journey, whether it be like what you're like, podcasts, when you're talking to somebody, they have offered you something in your experience.
Yeah.
There's a respect there, right?
Yeah.
But combative experience is like, that guy could fuck me up.
Yeah.
Like, that guy could literally kill me if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, there's like a very primal respect there now, right? And I know that like in the gym it's weird to like create that experience, but it's real. Like, it is real, right? And then so from now, like, you have this experience of jiu-jitsu where you have like this community built off of respect. I personally think built off respect. So, yeah. Well, people want to stay in it, so they stay in it, right?
Yeah.
And then they not only stay in it, they want to help the community and grow that community, and that's phenomenal. And I think another thing, like probably the individual aspect of martial arts is like I know that this is gonna sound like pretty like esoteric, like really like spooky mysticism. But I truly view martial arts as like a vehicle of spiritual development, of like self-development, etc. And by vehicle, like a very fast vehicle that gets you to the destination fairly efficiently.
Pretty quick, yeah.
So those are probably the two things why people stay. The reason why people leave, I think a lot of it has to do with their own self-doubt. A lot of it has to do with the idea that this like fear of missing out again, where we're in a scenario where they feel like they're regressing, which is silly, because as much as that feeling drives us to do the things we want to do, sometimes it makes us freeze. Like, a lot of people forget the third reaction, like physical reaction we have when we're faced with like an ultimatum or like a threat. You know, everybody thinks of fight or flight. But the third response is to freeze in place. Yep. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people are actually frozen.
Fight, flight, or freeze,
We can, again, bring it back to the high school conversation where it's like, these people are legitimately frozen from their life experience in a mentality that is in the past. Like,
absolutely,
So yeah, like, it makes sense that these people don't want to come back. Like, they come back, or when they come back, or if they come back, then they get absolutely smashed, because now these people have been consistently training if not longer. They have new white belts coming in, right? That are like doing incredibly well against somebody that maybe have gotten promoted and is a blue belt. Yeah. For those again who are listening that don't understand jiu-jitsu, there's a ranking system within belts, which is white, blue, purple, brown, and black. Obviously, black being the top. And when you have white belts, like beginners, like there can be like we'll say a hierarchy developed there because of the ranking system. Yeah. And then you would assume that a blue belt can't tap out a purple belt, or like finish a purple belt, or beat a purple belt, right? But that's not the case. Everybody's on their own journey. Yeah. and that rank kind of like reflects that. But people really get stun locked with that. Yeah, I actually, me and Mitch were talking about this literally just the other day.
Oh, like yesterday morning.
Literally yesterday morning.
Like after we all.
And we were talking about how like the ranking system has its flaws and then doesn't when it has a case where it builds a hierarchy, which is there's nothing technically wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the hierarchy.
But then you also have this case where it could stun lock clients, like you're.
Essentially, that's what it is.
You have a business that you want these people to come in to your business, right? Like, then you have this hierarchy that kind of stun locks them out of it, which is unfortunate because truly, whoever is out there that's not doing jiu-jitsu, like, because of that fear, like, do jiu-jitsu, guys. Like, nobody cares how good you are. Nobody cares. We just care to train with you. Like, that's all we really want. We really just want you to train. That's pretty much it.
That's really the so. And we'll get into kind of like a few things about jiu-jitsu that I'm curious about with you especially. First and foremost, when it comes to like if you're somebody starting out brand new in, let's say, we can go any martial art, but you can use it based off like your experience where you've seen people develop in jiu-jitsu and stuff, or kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever, Taekwondo. What do you think the best way is for somebody to come in and like, if you were to say, hey, you're going to start this martial art, you're going to start jiu-jitsu, this is your 3-year plan roughly to get the most out of that 3 years, or your first 3 years. How do they get the most out of their beginner stage when starting something like that? It could be even related to like a more broad scope if you want. But
another great question. I think that people lack emotional maturity.
Okay.
And that will play into what you receive from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
because if you go in with an ego and you have this mentality where like in 3 years you're going to be smashing people, like you're wrong.
Facts,
you're wrong.
yeah.
You're just wrong.
Yeah.
The reality is that in 3 years, yes, you can do something, like you can create a phenomenal foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer your question, I would definitely focus on trying to develop the fundamental techniques or searching out that information. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu is very bad, and I'm sorry that everybody has to go through this, but jiu-jitsu is very, very bad at showing people the foundations of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And it's not 100% your gym's fault or whoever. It isn't. The reality is that they have to cater to so many people, right? Like, but that's when people like confuse the basics with things that they already know. Like, if you come in and you learn a basic material, and you're turned off learning that basic material, that's not the academy's problem. That's your problem.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's a reaction problem.
Like that's your maturity showing there.
Yeah, your lack of understanding for development.
Because if you think that you're like, so given a perspective, if you think your mount escape is so good, to give context, being mounted is someone that's sitting on your chest.
Essentially, yeah.
Right? In grappling, and then that person is like legitimately holding down, where people will literally have panic attacks at the bottom of mounts sometimes.
People tap when I get there.
Yeah, like people, like you can apply so much pressure at that bottom.
Yeah, it's not a place to be.
That it's terrible. So if you think your mount is so good,
yeah, that
you never have to go over a mount escape again, like you have the wrong mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
So a number one point for pulling anything out of 3 years would be to kill that mentality of like, keep the beginner. I know that it's super reused all the time, but like white belt mentality kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But like, just open your mind to the idea that you can consistently get better at something, even if you excel at it. Yeah. If it's your A game, that's okay. It's your A game. Mm-hmm. Make it your S tier game, like your S plus tier game. Like, make it like the game that is consistently performing at all levels. Mm-hmm. And guess what? If that black belt that you're now rolling with, because you're a purple belt, because you're a blue belt, a high level competitive blue belt, and you're rolling with the white belt, and you're like holding that dude down or whatever, like, man, like, guys, like, get out of the mentality of like thinking that you're done learning a technique. Because if you can take that mentality and stretch it out over 3 years, and specifically work on foundational stuff,
Yeah.
you can have an incredible game in 3 years.
And to your point, I think, like, because I messaged you this after Friday, where I was like, I think you know where I'm going with this, but I was like, I really got to work on those those side control skates.
Just had a great day of training that day.
I was like, great day of training, but like, I got to work on this, got to work on that. Like, I go back to the drawing board, and like, everybody's like, I'm like, oh, it's side control. You're on the bottom, get out. It's like, I've been doing that shit for years, but it's still like, it's such a simple thing, but I'll always get there, and I'll always not enjoy it. And then it always frustrates me. Not to a point where I'm like, I want to give up, but more I'm like frustrated that I even got there in the first place.
Yeah, and like, unfortunately I have to pour salt in the wounds, but it was to a white belt.
Yeah.
Right?
Essentially.
But and it's not because it was a white belt. It's like, first of all, that guy had like 40 pounds on you or something stupid like that. But
yeah.
Like, and he was a young kid. He's like 18 years old. Yeah. He has like a crazy wrestling background. Yeah, like, well, I don't know about crazy, but I'm pretty sure he has a wrestling background.
It's more wrestling.
Yeah.
Than it is.
But like, yeah, being pinned. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're a blue belt being pinned.
Injuries aside, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that like, in the end, when we all left the mat, like, no one cares that Glenn got pinned.
Yeah.
So work on it now. Excuse me. Work on it now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we have to go over that. We've assessed a weakness. Let's go over it.
Which is why I have a love-hate relationship with that style, that kind of like training, because like it exposes you.
Of course, 100%. That's why I love it. I love. Okay, you're talking to somebody. When I started, you want to talk about 3 years?
Yeah.
When I started, I trained specifically for 2 years straight.
Yeah.
The biggest fuckers I could fucking. It was like, go, come here. Yeah. Come here, lay on my fucking chest and hold me down.
Yeah, because I want to get
for 2 years straight, bro. No one can hold me in mount now. Jesus. It's not happening, bro. Why?
Yeah, fair.
Because and I say no one can hold me in mount. Then I go to Toronto and get absolutely destroyed by these like world level black belts, and it's like, well, so much for no one holding me in mount, eh? It's like I can't even generate offensive motion against pretty much like some of their top level dudes. So it's like, like
they're like top level black belts though.
Yeah, like ranked third in the world, the black belts. But still, like, the reality is that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't it doesn't matter if you can hold mount on another black belt. Good for you, bro. But like, don't stop there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're a white belt, then you can hold your blue belt that you've been chasing for the last, like, I don't know, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. And then you hold them down and you're like, yeah, I fucking won. Like, yeah, okay, take the small victory, but don't stop there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As soon as you even take that small victory, you're allowing yourself room to like settle.
Bro.
Almost.
When people tap me in the gym, I see the smile that they have on their face, and I kind of want to continue to let them tap me, just because of how happy it makes them. You know what I mean? But the problem is I'm not helping their jujitsu when I do that, right? So it's like I want to like these guys legitimately get me in a nice submission, and it's like, okay, well done, man, well done, and it's like their egos puffed, and it's like, yeah, we did it.
Like, I know what it takes to earn like positions on you. I mean, just 100%. Positions. I'm like. I got here, and as soon as I'm there, I'm like, you're already, like, back in. I'm like, all right, time to keep working. Like, you can't, like, even positionally, like, you can't get in a position that's just, let's live here and let's settle it. And I think that's an interesting concept that I've been, like, kind of messing around with, especially with, like, the shift to, like, train more, like, forward pressure grappling.
Yeah,
like, wrestling.
Offense,
more offensive style.
Now, you can literally take that mentality and put it into life.
100%.
Right? Like, that's what I attempt to do.
Less reactive.
Yeah, don't react to life. Just come back and full offense. Do what you want to do.
Yeah,
take control of what you're going. And then, like, you can just... That's why, again, I think martial arts is, like, a beautiful vehicle for self-development. Right? Like,
it teaches
if you're panicking in mount, I actually tell this specifically to women, because I think, first of all, I think women in jiu-jitsu is amazing. And I think that all women should at least try grappling once.
Oh, I think so.
And it's super scary, first of all. Like, you have these, like, giant men sweating in your fucking face.
And they're not, like...
And it's so uncomfortable.
Goofy-looking men. Like,
they're big dudes. Like, you have, like, the goofy-looking guys, which is fine, and then you have...
But, like, Graham, Lucas.
Like, Bubba, Graham is, Corey, like, 6'3", 6'4", and he's, like, he's a lean-out dude, and he's, like...
Strong, awkward, weird...
Handsome as hell, bro. No, I just love you, Graham. But yeah, when it... when it comes to
Amazing.
dude, trust me, the community that you develop
Yeah.
in the jiu-jitsu academy is absolutely amazing and should truly be cherished. But yeah, women in jiu-jitsu, for that reason of like when you have this person that's like causing incredible feelings of discomfort,
Yeah.
and you fight through that shit,
It's incredible. Night and day, dude.
it really does change your whole viewpoint on life. And that's why I love martial arts so much.
Yeah.
Like, that's truly why I love it so much.
Now, when it comes to jiu-jitsu at the whole, why did you so where'd you follow Jesse in the beginning? Like, where'd you start training?
I started at Sudbury BJJ.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, so Sudbury BJJ was like the academy to train at, truly. I know that this sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they have a very different view on martial arts, which is fine. Like, they're doing a great job over there. I think that my first experience at Sudbury BJJ was phenomenal. I got flying kneed in the fucking chest by Jesse and was like, I'm hooked because I want to be able to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't recommend that for anybody.
Yeah,
by
don't
the
get
way.
flying knee,
just-
especially by Jesse.
I actually have an injury forever because of that, which is injuries in itself are something to talk about. But yeah, when it comes down to training at Sudbury BJJ, I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie though, there were some discomforting things that like we would talk about, and then just kind of like was left. You know when you like have a problem, but you actually take the time to like voice it, and then when you voice it, you kind of become the problem now.
Yes.
So that became that, and then it was like, you know what, like I need to leave. You know what I mean? I literally dropped out of college to be a martial artist.
Right.
Like I left my heavy duty equipment program to work for Sudbury BJJ, and ultimately like try to live that life of being a martial artist full time. And I found out very, very quickly that it's a very the money pit is dry in that industry, my friend. Very dry. And then from there it was just kind of like, these gym owners aren't really even making money. So it was like, like I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? And on top of that too, we were like, me and the gym owner were having our own little experience. Actually, not even particularly the gym owner. It was more the gym owner's wife that I was having a hard time with. And then it was just kind of like, I just like broke away. Like we still talk now. I actually see him all the time. And it's okay now. But like through the experience, I was like, man, I need to get out of here. I need to do something. I stopped training for like a year.
Oh wow.
And then went to Sudbury MMA. It was an amazing experience. I stayed there for like 7 years. But then like, it's funny because we were talking about this off air, and we were talking about how like there are some mentalities in gyms that just like aren't comforting. And one of the mentalities is that like, I think it's really important that people train together. I think it's really important that people like actually go out and do experience different gyms and whatnot. Like have your home gym. It's okay. Like don't like pay your home gym, be the student at your home gym. There's nothing wrong with that. Like they have a product that you're trying to that like as a gym owner, you're trying to sell a product, and if they like your product, they will stay at your gym. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But don't limit them. Like we're having Rickard's Red beer. That doesn't necessarily mean that we can only have Rickard's Red beer. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous notion. Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
A little bit more of ASMR, but to say like then we're now stuck in this like environment.
Yeah.
I didn't really mesh well with that ideology, and so it was a very well spent 7 years. I put my heart and soul into that academy. I really did. Taught classes, tried to like bring that school up as hard as I could. Made a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
And then I had to leave for my own personal development, and I definitely don't regret it for sure. I absolutely love Troop. Troop's a great school.
Nice, dude.
I'm loving it.
When you first showed up,
Like today?
no,
like in the like at troop. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I've always wanted to hear one of these stories, dude.
Because like what do you?
Like, who's this guy coming into our school? Like, bro, first of all, I'm an established purple belt.
Yeah,
like,
you had an old ass purple belt. So I'm like, hey, this guy probably doesn't.
Like, I've been
suck.
training for so long, right?
But I remember, so I distinctly remember asking you, like right before I rolled, I was like, how long? Because this would gauge how bad you would kick my ass or not. I was like, okay, like so, full transparency. I was like, okay, because I'm like, purple belts, older purple belts, I don't. That I've trained with, I don't seem to have a problem with.
Okay.
Right? Just my style, the way I am.
Yeah, 100%.
Piss full of vinegar in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
20s.
Yeah, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah, right? So, like, so I don't have issues.
I love
with most
specifically watching you roll with other blue belts. That's fucking
cool.
you and Brady. Holy
Dude, that's
shit! That is phenomenal, bro. Bring the popcorn, bro.
Yeah, it does not
It's
stop.
amazing.
Me and Alex is another one, and then
Oh my god, yeah, I can
Corey
only
and I,
imagine.
and
I
it's
don't
just-
think I've actually ever watched you roll with Alex.
No, we haven't rolled off. There was
Hopefully he's
one
coming
or
to
two
the
open mats
5:30
in the
class,
past
man.
little bit.
5:30
Yeah,
class.
hopefully.
No, he better fucking be
He's
there.
been coming for them, like for the morning classes, before the last couple weeks. So, but I know he's been
Yeah,
prep for
shout out to him, man. Worlds went to
Yeah.
Worlds Nogi. He literally went to the greatest platform that jiu-jitsu offers in the
Fucked it
Nogi
up,
scenario
yeah.
for
Fucked it up.
IBJJF, and he showed up, man. I watched his
Yeah.
first fight. He had an absolute barn burner,
That's my boy, dude. That's awesome.
and he
Love
actually
that guy.
lost to the future champ, man. So he can hang out with the big guys.
Fucking awesome. So I remember walking up to you and being like, "Okay, like how long you been training?" You're like, "Long time." And I was like,
Yeah, like
fucking
how do you
my
answer that question? Yeah.
You're like, I go more than 4 or less than 5 years. Less than
Really?
5, yeah.
You
I've trained-
gave me less than 5 years?
I tell people that I've been training less than 5
Oh, okay,
years.
okay. So do you
I'm like,
rehearse
more
that?
than
Just
4 and
curious.
less than 5. No, it just rolls out of the tongue. It's like I've been training more than 4. I've been training 4 years at Troop, but I had 2.5, 3 months of training in Ottawa. But then I went
Okay.
and traveled the
Where
world
did you
a bunch
train
of
in
places. Nova You now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's closed down though.
Okay. Do you know?
Probably. I hope it'd be cool.
Oh man, I know his name's escaping me. Jeremy Perret.
Why is that name sound so familiar?
He's
I would know his face.
French gentleman. He's a young kid.
Yeah.
He trained at Nova U now for like a very small period of time, and then he went to Gracie Baja in Ottawa.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's actually down in.
I remember.
He's down training with the Gracie Baja guys in the States right now, and
Nice.
He's like training hard there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Nice.
Jiu-jitsu is amazing for the roads that you can take when you actually have a coach that gives a shit.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. So, excuse me. More than 4, less than 5. You didn't really answer my question. You're like,
unfortunately.
nah. I'm just,
I've just been there. I've been around.
You're like, I'm doing it for a long time, and you like went to slap my hand. I was like, all right. And then I was like, okay, how do I do this? Okay, because I'm like, he's a bigger purple belt, so he's probably stronger. So I'm like, he's a strong guy. Fuck, okay. And then you just beat the shit out of me, and I was like, fuck this guy coming from another gym, beat me up for 6 minutes, and
I cross trained
Yeah.
before switching, right?
yeah,
So like
100%.
So like I had the experience of like being in your gym, so I was
Yeah.
already comfortable enough to
Yeah.
like roll harder with guys.
And it was just, I don't know, I was like, fuck, man, like, I was like, all right. And then Corey comes out to me, he's like, bro, you roll with the purple belt. Roll with the new purple belt, Troy. I was like, yeah. He's like, how was it? I'm like, good for him.
Good.
I'm like, not too bad, I didn't, not, like underplaying how poorly I lost. And he was like,
You can't lose in training.
no,
You can't lose in training.
I mean,
Doesn't work that way. You lose up here.
it did,
but
yeah, it
you
did that.
can't
I
lose in
lost up
training.
here and out here, but
The ego is a fragile thing at times.
yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, I just, and he's like, yep, yep. He's
This
strong.
is a phenomenal conversation so far.
He's good.
Yep.
Dude, all my conversations with Corey are like that. It's the funniest shit ever. Because, like, I caught him with a knee bar, like, 2 weeks ago, right?
Okay.
Like, we were doing, like, the
So
drill,
the
the black wall
Ashigarami
drills. Yeah,
is
dude.
working.
Yeah,
Alright,
man, we were doing the
alright.
back, we were doing the, so he was on bottom position with the lapel pass through, and we were working from that position, right, from the
Okay.
black wall.
Oh, so you're training
Yeah.
McGee?
Yeah, so black wall
Okay.
on Monday, and then I sat back, and he fired his leg all the way through, and I just, like, knee barred it. So I just went down on a knee bar.
For those who don't know, a knee bar is basically you trying to break your knee in the opposite direction of where it's supposed to bend. So it's jiu-jitsu is a phenomenal thing.
I can't explain to somebody, and we'll get into this, I'm sure. But right after this, I'm curious about it. And then this is how I know, like, Corey experienced this. I'm trying to tie this together with, like, I know he experienced the same thing that I did when rolling with you for the first time.
Okay.
Is because he responded when I was like, how'd it go with you? And he's like,
yeah,
it was all right.
It was okay.
He's strong.
Yeah.
You know, he's good. And then when I was like, I knee bar him, I was like, yo, Corey, you like that knee bar? Like 10 minutes later when we were about to roll, and he's like, that was good. That was nice. I'm like, you're not letting that happen again, are you? He's like, nope. I'm like, he like gives me short, like,
this guy
it's already behind him.
Yo, like, you can hear this man's ligaments ripping before he fucking actually taps. Like, Corey, tap, bro.
Savage,
I love you to death, but tap, bro. Please. Like, bro, I put toe holds, so those who
like
don't know what a toe hold is. A toe hold is me essentially wrenching your foot, like, into your butt, essentially, to the point where I break your ankle.
Not comfortable.
It's incredibly uncomfortable.
Trying to remove my foot from my leg.
Yes, literally. And I'm holding this submission sometimes, and I'm hearing his ligaments rip in my hands, and I'm like, I let it go, because it's like, Corey. And he's like, I didn't tap, bro.
It's like, I'm tapping for you.
Yeah, it's like, literally.
Oh, dude. Oh, that's awesome.
What a guy.
So, where was he going with this? When it comes to, like, training and cross-training over, yeah, man, I didn't like you. I didn't like you at first. It took me a couple months to get my ass kicked to, like, actually get to know you, though. But like, I picked your brain about stuff, and then you'd give me,
that's a respect thing, right? Like,
and it was when you, Nikki, and I were the only people at the gym, and you were running us through leg shit. Where I was like,
for sure.
I get it. Or like it clicked. I was like, I flipped. Cause,
nice, I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude.
Taking the honest approach there and being like, yo, maybe this guy is a nice guy.
No, and it was like I was getting my ass kicked by this guy who I never met. So I was like, I don't like that. I didn't like that. It wasn't that I didn't like you. I was like, I didn't like that
experience
specifically.
I can see why.
And
like,
it was just a reoccurring one
too. Right?
And the problem with that is too with the cross trainers. I was like, I had such a like. People assume, and I'm speaking specifically for myself, but I would assume that if somebody's cross training or like somebody's coming in from another gym, I look at them as like okay, like what is this? Like, how have I been looked at doing that? Okay. And then I almost feel, and this could be like the bad good thing you were talking about earlier, where you're like, once you see the problem and you talk about the problem, you become the problem almost. That's what I think, at least in my case, happened, where I see people come from other gyms, and I've gotten out of that now, but because of like I think you like really bridge that gap. Like, you're bridging the gap of doing that, which I really hope is like it comes full circle.
I really do too, man. I really do.
Seeing that though, for me, I was like, oh, okay, like I can get on board with why he's doing this, and knowing your reasons why doing it. I was like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. There's like systems. I think it's a scary thing to think that Subri will forever stay 4 academies split. I think that's a very ridiculous notion. Like, it's so ridiculous to think about that. You have, like, first of all, a super small city. We're a small city. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And then we have, it is said that it is said that 10% of a population will try martial arts. Wow. Okay? The other 1% will actually do it. So 1% out of the 10% will actually do it. And it rings true. There's maybe anywhere between maybe 600 practitioners of jiu-jitsu and sabri. Maybe. And there's 260,000 people here. Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Right? Like, that's a 600 fucking people, bro. And we're all training at separate academies. It makes no sense to me, dude.
No, and for us not to, like, try different things or see.
And here's the thing. It's okay to be over there. And it's okay to be over there. We all have our own different, quote, products. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But we should be able to come together as a group with common interests. We have common interest of jiu-jitsu. So, like, why not experience that together? Right? Yeah. There is no... In the age of information, Glenn, there is no reason that you feel like your product is going to be like tainted or taken away from you in 2022. Like, it's not happening, bro.
No, you're
it's not happening, dude. Like, the instructionals that are out there, like, specifically to the people that understand and, like, are in the jiu-jitsu world, there is, like, content that you can buy, which is, like, from world champions. Yeah. Right? That, no one's taking that away from you. Like, we just have, we literally have spaces to train. Mm-hmm. They're businesses. They're run by beautiful people. Mm-hmm. And these people, like, my opinion, should open their doors to everybody. Yeah. So you have this scenario where, you know, my home academy is Troop. I really love Troop. I love the environment that is growing there. I think we have some really strong dudes.
You've been welcomed in pretty well too. Like,
I feel that way. Yeah, 100%. I think in general, I think when it comes to being like welcomed the way I was, like, which was amazing. First of all, like, I came in and people were like already like picking my brain. And
well, you also like you came in knowing stuff and like being, again, like you said, right? I'll make this quick because I want you to finish your point, but when you come in with something and you have that, you're like, oh, I'm like really, like, I'm pretty good, but I play a very different game, and I have a different skill set that you guys maybe don't see all the time because it's working on you guys.
And that segues into cross training, bro.
Exactly.
Like, the reality is, how much you weigh right now?
175, roughly.
175, okay, bro. Yeah. Like, 175. Do you know how many 175 blue belts are in Sudbury that have never rolled with you, homie? Like, blows my mind. Like, why? Why are you robbed from that experience? Yeah. Exactly. It's a fucking great question that nobody has the answer to. I don't know. It blows my mind, man.
I think most of them are at... I don't know where most of them are.
When you have this scenario where all of these guys experience this love that we have, like, why can we not enjoy it together? That's my only quarrel with what's going on.
It blows my mind, yeah. It's like, I know that... Because granted, like, my fear of cross-training, and specifically in Sudbury, is I don't want to not... I've experienced it a few times. And
of course. I think we all have. Yeah, it's just, it's a windowed experience. Right?
And I'm like, if I know the better, in my opinion, like, the better I'm getting the most out of this, or like this professor just has more substance behind what he's saying, it's like, well, why would I not, like, just stay?
It's so funny because then
it's a weird.
Let's dissect that, because I think that's really, really important. I want to dissect that for two reasons. The reality is that everybody in jiu-jitsu has something to show you, just like everything, and everybody in life has something to.
Yeah, you could take away something and you can offer something.
You just have to have the mentality of that, right? Like, the reality is that maybe this 265-pound dude doesn't have the same game as me, right? Quote, 260-pound guy doesn't have the same life as me, but he can still offer me something with my own life, right? Yeah. So it's like, when it comes down to that, when we open our mind to that scenario, then you have this amazing experience where you actually truly can. Because I'll tell you right now, John Cole can teach you how to fucking smash the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right? He's got an amazing pressure game, top pressure game. Yeah. And he has developed it particularly for that reason, because it fits his body type. That doesn't mean that you can't utilize things that he has to teach you.
Oh, God,
right?
No, yeah.
And then his students as well, right? Or Nanku's students and the abilities that they have. You know, Graham is a really tall dude, right? Fighting really tall, lanky dudes that are strong at 205. I think he's like 205, 210.
Yeah, it's a 210 for sure.
That's a body to work with, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, training with Graham tests even the highest level of passing due to his size, right? Yeah. And I think everybody should experience that, right? Like, so why, like, again, like, it's, I think there's a little bit of an ego battle there. I think a lot of it has to do with just a lot of fear. I don't like fear-guided decision-making. Does that make sense? No.
Yeah, because it's more emotional-based than it is.
You're retracting what could possibly happen based off of this notion that you think that something bad's going to happen.
Actually, I'm going to push back on that. I think fear-based decisions are good if you don't let fear...
If there's a fucking tiger chasing you, 100%.
If you don't let fear decide, though, for you.
That's exactly it.
That's 100%. The thing. I think I want to make that clear.
Yes,
right?
100%.
I think they're good. It's like, oh, you can be courageous because that might scare me. But like being afraid and like actual fear, I think there's like,
and then making a decision based off that fear.
Yeah,
like
to go, I don't want to go there because I'm afraid of this. It's like, what, you could still go,
or I don't want to open my doors because of this, or
exactly,
I don't like.
I'm afraid people might leave, or that.
Like just take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, be courageous, because
if you're courageous in yourself and your experience, then you will have something, or like you will have something to offer, or these people coming to you will want something from you. That's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. I think it's a very weird, skewed idea. I think ultimately it hurts jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah, I think
not just in Sabri, but I think it hurts. I think like imagine in life people not connecting, like the tribalism that we see in the world now, right? People have beliefs, and then they come up to you and they're like, "Well, you don't believe the thing I believe, so then I need to separate myself from that." And that's not, I don't think that's the appropriate response. I really don't.
No, I agree.
Don't get me wrong, unless these people think that like harming people is okay. Like, like that person, you should probably not even distance yourself with that person. You should probably look at that person and be like, I think that what you're feeling, what you're thinking is incorrect. I don't think you should hurt people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like be courageous in that sense and stand up to that ideology. But yeah, I think people they separate themselves when they have these different thoughts, and it's unfortunate to see because it like creates so much division. I think division's the enemy, truly.
Yeah, and I think like staying kind of shifting a little bit into more overall scope of like with connection from jiu-jitsu. I think what I found really, really cool is, and moving back to Sudbury, is I don't actually have friends of mine who I still have before I
before you left.
Before I left, yeah. Like they're all people who I was friends with when I came back for summer, the odd 1 or 2 years. Then there are friends of mine who I met through jiu-jitsu or the podcast. I don't know. Yeah, but like it's all the interest, and then it's like, oh, these communities of like good friends of mine. It's like, well, we all kind of just train, and then we just train, lift weights, and then
you have a circle up and talk. Yeah, like
exactly.
I think the mat talk, we call it mat talk. Well, I call it mat talk. I don't know what you guys call it, but like, yeah, mat talk is like amazing. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing, and I think that's like an amazing way to develop connections. And I think like in general, people like lack that in general. Like again, like I don't think people actually. We were talking about this off air, but I don't think people know how to actually create genuine relationships anymore. Yeah, and not everyone. It's so hard to say that everyone can't. That's bullshit. There's a very large portion of people that can't formulate relationships anymore because, like you were saying, like we're connected to our phones. We're connected to this scenario where we have this very like lack of intimacy with talking. Like texting is not talking, right? Like first of all, think about this. You need to actually be able to understand what you're reading to actually understand and connect with the person you're texting with. Yeah. Well, if you suck at reading, you're not going to understand that person. You know what I mean? God, no, maybe there's a language barrier. Like this is just a really small example of where the miscommunications lie outside of lacking intimacy. Yeah. But like when you're training in the gym and you're like lifting weights with people and you're like talking, that's a very intimate experience that grows relationships.
You almost have to create those situations and like one thing.
Of course,
100%.
Who's the man? I was listening to a podcast just the other day where this one guy was basically saying it was with Jordan Peterson and another gentleman. He was basically saying be first. I loved it. He's like, be first. Be the guy that asks to go for beer. Yeah. I ask my friends all the time, let's go for a fucking beer, man. What's wrong with that? Let's go for a fucking beer. Yeah. Because it's amazing. I get to talk to them. I get to talk. I get the update of their life. Like, man, I'm about to have my firstborn son in less than 4 weeks.
Yeah. Right, see, that's exciting.
Less than 4 weeks,
that's terrifying.
Bro. And it's like, man, like, I have people that I want to share this experience with, and it's like crickets. Yeah. Because people are so in the experience, man. You know what I mean? And then like when you pull the intimacy away from that, that's where you get that. I find it's like when you pull like I hold my friends dear, man. I really do. Like I think I hold my friends higher than in a priority list that maybe I should because I put them first a lot of the times. And then you have this scenario where, sometimes it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like given back. It's not reciprocated, right?
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with this scenario where there's like,
one.
it's sometimes super uncomfortable, right? But it's like I think it's lack of the intimacy of.
And I think to your point too, where you're almost in a scenario where you're forced to connect with, like the times we were talking about off cameras, like with that kind of inspired the idea of like having these conversations is when I was in Ecuador, there's no service.
Yeah, like you
I'll
don't
show you
have
on the
that
map
distraction.
where we were after this. It's middle of the rainforest.
Yeah, literally.
There's nothing.
All you have to
I can't
interact
piss
with
in
is,
the lake.
Yeah.
Because there's parasites that swim up urine. Like, that's how in the middle of... Yeah, it's the whole thing. They showed us photos, and they're, like, yay big, dude. They're, like, the size of, like, what's the fish? Smelts. They're about the size of smelts. And they're, like, parasites, maybe a bit smaller, and they just swim up urine. And then they do this, like an umbrella.
Do they mind control you, bro?
I don't want to find out, to be honest.
Imagine that, dude.
Little paranoid
Isn't
about
there
that
parasites? I've heard of parasites that literally fucking take over your mind and they drown you, bro.
That's some...
What?
I think that was a video game you're playing, dude. I don't know
No,
if that
dude.
doesn't sound
No.
real. Really?
Yeah.
Where's this?
Dude, like, we should look it up after, dude. There's a parasite
What?
that fucking goes into...
Bruh.
Yeah, dude, and drowns
That's crazy.
them. It fucking drowns them. And that's how I think that's actually how they reproduce, if I'm not mistaken. They literally suicide people. Yeah, that's fucking...
That's terrifying. But with that being said...
Jamie, look it up. No.
Let's go. There's nobody there.
There's...
One day.
Unfortunately, there's just more beer. That's all there's over.
That'd be awesome. But there's... with that, there's no service, right, to the point. And then at the summer camp, there was no... Like, we had our phones after hours, but, like, it's 1 a.m. There's no cell service anywhere. There's no Wi-Fi.
Well, wait, you were limited to having your phone?
Yeah, because we're working with kids all the time. We can't just be on our phones. It got really bad one summer. Like, most of the summers, it wasn't like that. But there was one summer really bad where they're like, yo, everybody.
How did that experience come to you?
What do you mean? Which experience?
Like how you getting there? How did that happen?
So what happened is, like, my parents just, like, sent me to this outdoor summer camp when I was, like, 13. And then I just really enjoyed it. Because what happened is, it wasn't like where at school it's like you get grouped. It's like, because there wasn't that many people, right? So it's like, well, each of you stand out in a way. So, like, you're all just kind of like, you're celebrated for your individuality. And then you're allowed kind of room to be, like, authentic and, like, goof around. And it's like, there's things that everybody can be good at. So it's like, I could be very good at playing volleyball with people. So like, I'm the only... Yeah, dude. A little bit. Not quite, though. God, no. And then we did sing O Canada. And, like, we did do, like, graces at the beginning of meals, but, like, not really.
Be thankful.
I mean, we did some things that definitely the Bible would forbid upon, but it is what it is. And so basically what happened, though, is you're forced to connect. And doing that, as I kind of got more and more into the space of, like, working in the summer camp in the outdoor center world, like, the second year on staff, so it was like I did, like, different, like, 1 week program, a 2 week program, and then I, like, volunteered for 2 weeks in a summer, and then I worked on first year staff, second year staff. I ran a leadership program, and then I ran, like, program.
This is all in Ecuador?
No, that'd be cool. No, this was, like, in Sudbury.
Okay, so you started that program, and that's what brought you to that.
That's what brought me to, like, the first part of, like, the connection of, like, why I started the podcast, of, like, why I started to have those conversations.
Okay.
And I just felt like so much... I'm like, you guys are so much smarter than me. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Life experience will do that.
Yeah, man. I'm like, they're climbing mountains and shit in Alaska, and I'm like 17, and I'm like, what? I'm like getting all this information from all your experiences at such a young age. Mm-hmm. So, like,
you ever met, like, a really amazing storyteller, though? Yeah.
Yeah, I've met a few that are like...
They change your life. Like, I'm sure you have met some on your journeys. You must have.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of one that, like, really stood out. I've had people who are, like, even if they're not that good at storytelling, they're, like, really, really articulate.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm like, ooh, like, they're very, like, well-spoken. They're, like, professional script writers or authors, and, like, those people who've been on the show are, like, very, very well spoken.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then there's like actors who get like well spoken. People who do media a lot, like Olympians and stuff. They have their like small tidbits of things that they share.
Of course, makes sense.
And then people who like traveled a bunch of places always have like. And I wish I could remember. We were at this hostel in Budapest, and this guy and his son spent like 6 months touring around like Russia and like Central Europe. It was in like 2018, yeah, dude. Yeah. And like I remember this guy being like the best storyteller because my buddy and I were trying to like decipher what makes a good storyteller at the time.
That's a great question.
And he was just like the best storyteller I can remember. And it wasn't so much as he told the story he just overwhelmed us with information, or he just would not stop talking, because that happens. And when he spoke, everybody listened. Like, he could be talking to one person, and then everybody would kind of just
gravitate towards the conversation,
shift to what he was saying. Like, yo, what the fuck is this guy saying?
Those are very few and far between.
Oh, but they're like, and I don't know. What do you think like cultivates that though? You think it's like an experience thing? You think it's like they just read a lot?
No, the experience for sure. I think that like when genuine people connect, like connect in like the intimate way we were talking, where like they're sharing their stories, like even just like we're doing right now, like. Yeah, there's for sure, and then they can articulate it in a sense where everybody can connect to it. Like everybody can be empathetic, like or empathetic, empathetic towards it. So like that is what truly creates the good story for sure.
Yeah,
I think in general, if you can connect to the story, then you're going to gravitate towards the story, right?
Right.
And then these guys have this way of like spinning magic with their words, of this sense of like not like projecting you into the story,
right,
and then like traveling through like the emotions of the story. And yeah, man, 100%. Like I view this, or I think about this every day when I try to write my story.
Mm-hmm.
Like writing a book is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like trying to write a book is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like jiu-jitsu has nothing on writing a book, bro, or like at least building a universe, right?
Yeah, and I think like but I think too that, dude, the need for people to create something.
It's amazing.
Insane.
It's amazing, dude.
I've done it with this, and
it's amazing.
Just thinking of an idea in your head and then forming it to something physical that you can use.
Bro, you literally have a fucking table that have people that have had experiences.
There's like 30 people of like, it's like episode 112.
That's amazing, dude.
And it's insane to see kind of just how...
Like, look at where we're at right now. This is amazing.
Yeah, man, it's just, you thought about it in my head one day, and I was like, oh, this could be a cool idea. And then just using the experience, I'm like, how do I recreate something that I've always like, I've loved being a part of? And it's like, well, we can't be on our phones if we're doing a show. We can, but we can't, right? So it's like, oh,
that'd be a very weird experience.
It'd be weird, yeah. Nobody would listen. So it's like my phone's on airplane mode, so I don't get nothing. I need a stopwatch. So I'm like, other than that, I'm like, the phone's not there, yours is off, or like face down. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And you're kind of forcing a tone to be created, and then. In Ecuador, the guy running it was like, the phones are great for technology, for connecting, because it allows us to, like, dude, I've reached out to all these people because I met them. Like, because, like, half of them, I'm like, all right, I'll just DM them. And then more often than not, they're like, oh, or I'll, like, more often than not, though, actually, I follow them, celebrate kind of what they do, and they're like, oh, this guy's in my con, and then I just message them.
Of course.
Seems to work. And then you connect with them, and now these people are, like, friends of mine, or like
you said it though. You celebrate them. It's so weird how just celebrating someone's individual experience.
So like, hey man, way to go, and I put them up on my story.
Yeah, like,
and I'm like,
or happy birthday, bro. Like just throwing happy birthdays. So
it's huge because we lack that so much. So because we're lacking it, it has more value when we do it.
100%.
It's fucking.
Which is weird. Yeah, I find that very weird how it like grew into something that like, happy birthday. Oh my god, that person took 2 seconds to say happy birthday on Facebook. Like, call him for a beer, man. Go for a beer.
Oh, dude, I think the importance of that connection, like guy I had on last week, Ben Leavitt, shout out to Ben. He's he paid off, basically, short thing about him, he paid off his student loans by making YouTube videos.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I hear that YouTube doesn't pay well, so unfortunately,
I think YouTube pays better than like most places. Like most
good,
platforms.
Excellent. That's phenomenal.
Pays more than definitely pays more than TikTok and Instagram. It depends on how you use it, right? Like,
isn't it crazy how people can make money off of social media right now?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. It really is. But it's like, man, what a What an interesting experience.
It is, yeah. You can create something, and due to attention pays, like to have it attention, and then
100%.
Actionable attention.
It also deteriorates your life if you put your attention into the wrong things.
Which have you found in the last few years? Like, how did like the 2020 COVID whole like forced into your house kind of thing? Like, how did that?
I fucked up.
You? Yeah.
I fucked up. Yeah, I fucked up the whole experience, bro. I actually legitimately admit that to myself. I think that with the time off that we received from COVID,
yeah,
the time off, yeah. Like some people didn't get time off, and I'm truly sorry that some people were legitimately stressed in the experience of COVID. I was that person that just stayed home, and we had that experience where, you know, yeah, we just stayed home. We did our thing. Like we tried our best to like. Stick to our hobbies, but like I don't know, I think in general, like I think we did a good job outside of the things of like chasing what we wanted. Mm-hmm. And I actually legitimately feel like I fucked up there. Like we had so much time off, man.
Yeah.
Like there was the first time in my life I ever got laid off. Ever. I've never been laid off ever in my life. Like I do a pretty crazy job and I love my job, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm a cobbler.
Amazing.
I think we've talked about this already.
Yeah, I think so, or we were getting to it.
Okay, yeah. So like, being a cobbler in itself is a conversation, but like,
give us a little like overview real quick if you can.
Fixing shoes is super fun. It's like it's basically reverse engineering stuff. So like right. There's a problem. Obviously, something's broken, and I disassemble it and reassemble it to make it better again. Yeah. Right. But the thing is that people like hear the word cobbler and like, oh my god, what does he do? What's a cobbler? And then for all the French people out there in cordonnier, you know what I mean? Like every time I tell somebody that I'm a cordonnier, they know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But I say cobbler and they have no fucking clue.
Jeez.
It's kind of funny, but whatever. But outside of that, like being a cobbler is super fun. Being a cobbler is like art class every day. I'm not even joking. Like you go in and you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna. Every job is different. It's amazing. I actually love my job. I legitimately love my job. Yeah, I think I fucked up COVID. I think I like really, first of all, could have seen leaps and bounds in my writing that this didn't happen, bro. Like I loved it. I just loved the time off. I know that sounds kind of crazy. Like we were in this like unprecedented time of like suffering essentially, which I 100% agree with. I think a lot of people struggled on the mental plane with their lives like completely just like reversing, like, or not like reversing, but like just like flip-flopping, you know what I mean? Like same with me, like again, like I was saying, like first time getting laid off, and then I'm in a scenario where I have like legitimately all this free time, and all of my hobbies, by the way, I do at my house outside of jiu-jitsu. Right. Like I love gaming out and I love writing, so it's like I could do it all day. Yeah. I can literally do it all in the same station.
Zero reason.
Yeah, there was zero reason to do it, and then it was just like, or there was zero reason not to do it, and then it was like it just, yeah, man. I actually feel like I let go of something amazing there.
Now, because I've read this post and I've always wanted to talk to you about it. This was like the first initial like I want to get you on the show was when I read this. You posted something like I think at the beginning of last year. How, like, 2020 was, like, the worst year of your life. Okay. Or something like that. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately.
If you can talk about it.
I definitely can.
Take me through why. Because, yeah, you said in, like, a broad stroke that, like, it messed up. But, like, take me through, like, the details of it.
So probably, like, the biggest thing.
Of what you want to share, at least.
Well, the biggest thing was losing my mom.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
It was super unfortunate. So, like 2020 was like mentally destructive. Mm-hmm. But then I lost my mother in like 2021.
Right.
And it was like 2020 was this scenario where I was actually doing the switch from Suburban Made a Troop. Mm-hmm. And it fucked me up mentally, man. Like, it messed with the idea that I just thought I had genuine connections that fizzled away very, very quickly after I left. And, left at Sub MMA. And it was like...
Yeah.
I just like, man, I love those guys to death, and then I just like, I feel pretty ostracized now, and it's just like, it's just really unfortunate. So like that really messed with me, and then, I don't know if anybody else has gone through this, but when you have someone in your family that's sick, and there are times where they will withhold information, to try to protect you.
I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't know why she did it. I really don't. I still to this day don't know why she did it. But she.
So it was like self-inflicted. Like is that?
No, she lied to us. My mother told me that she was getting treated for cancer. My mother died of gastro cancer, so she died of stomach cancer, and that was like never found. When they take ultrasounds of your stomach, they only see the front portion.
Yeah.
And all of her cancer was behind her stomach. Yeah, it was such a weird. Such a weird.
That is weird.
But yeah, like when you have this person, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna actually tell all your viewers everything right now. Call your mom and tell you that you love her, man. Because like, you don't understand the extent of what they will do to love you, man. Like, you have no fucking clue. You really don't.
Jeez.
You really don't, dude. And when they're gone, you can never, ever tell them the things that you want to tell them. Ever again. It's gone. You never can have that last phone call to tell them that you love them. The first time I kissed my mother on her forehead, like the first time I ever kissed my mom as an adult, she was gone. Yeah, dude. I don't recommend that for anybody.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
heavy.
It was a really unfortunate experience. And then on top of that too, like being 2020 is when she told us that she was sick. And then like it was so fast, Glenn. It was like 6 months, dude, and she was gone. 6 months. Boom. Gone.
Yeah, how do you digest that?
Well,
like, yeah, how did the fallout of that take place?
I think that when you lose a parent, I have this conversation with a lot of people, and there's very mixed opinions, but I genuinely believe that you grow it into a new chapter of your life when you're a parent. Like when you become a parent.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people who do not want to become a parent, okay? All the power to them. But I genuinely think that you experience a true essence of life when you become a parent.
That you couldn't otherwise.
You will never experience it.
So.
Right. Like you will never experience that chapter if you never become a parent.
True, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
There are people who legitimately think that you don't even become an adult until you become a parent.
I guess so, yeah.
And the thing is like, as much as you can talk shit about that, like you don't actually grow as a mature adult until you put something else in front of you, right?
Right.
And that's the kid, right? It's a very weird experience. It's a very weird, like,
that makes sense.
I have my own viewpoint of it. Like,
yeah.
I don't 100% subscribe to the idea of like being a parent is the end all. Like, I think there are people who should not be parents. 100%.
Yeah, I think so too. I can list 5 people right now.
There's some people who would make amazing parents and they can't.
Yeah.
Like,
or they won't.
Or they won't, which is really, really unfortunate to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, man. Like learning the experience of like thinking that your life is great, like thinking that like you have this like forever growing relationship with the person that you love, which obviously I hope that all of you guys love your mothers. And if you have some beef with your mom, like just put it down, guys. Like forgive, man. Forgiveness is a trait that only the strong can carry. Only.
Yeah.
And I understand that people do some fucking terrible things. I get that. But just because you think that was a terrible experience and the way that it affected you doesn't mean that you can forgive not only yourself but them. You don't have to keep them in your life or whatnot, but you can go up to them and say, hey, like I forgive what happened because it was X period of time ago, or I was a different person, whatever, right?
Yeah, statute of limitations is up.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you don't carry that shit.
Jeez.
But if you can call your mom and tell her that you love her, do it, man, because it's a very weird experience. It's a very comfortable experience for sure. Again, like we were talking about with the whole men thing, like showcasing emotions and stuff. Like, yeah, like just fighting right now to like try to like kind of keep myself together. Like with this scenario is it's just like, man, there's just a conversation I would have loved to have with her. That's for sure. And I couldn't.
I think, man, like, it's not the first time somebody's told me that they've lost a parent on the show. But every time I'm, like, not expecting it. Because they come up and it's just so a lot. And you don't, how do you set the tone for that? But
just fucking go and call your fucking mom and tell her that you love her. Just do it. Because the reality is that person will not be there someday. They will not be there. And, like, it doesn't matter the fucking feud that you had, man. Like, my mom and me were just learning each other as an adult. Like, as me as an adult. Like, there's a difference between talking to your parents as a kid and talking to your parents as an adult. Like, as your own man, you know what I mean? Let alone, like, you know, a woman. You know, like, it's tough, dude. Like, it's tough to, like, take the time to reach out and do that, but just do it, man. It's worth it.
I struggle with my mom with that.
But it's a personality thing.
Like
there's nothing wrong with that.
Like we can have good conversations, but like I could tell that she like still thinks I'm 3 years old.
And you are the person, bro, that needs to set that line and be like, Mom, I'm a fucking grown man now, and I would like to have a conversation as a grown man with you.
That doesn't always bring up this or doesn't end with that.
100%.
Yeah. Like,
you know how we were talking about like the high school thing? That it's like we're not that snapshot.
But they see us as the snapshot of 5 years
of
before.
5 years. Yeah. It's not like that, bro. That's not what it's like. And then like you have to have the maturity and the courage to be like, yo, like this isn't the reality that I live. You know, I have to with my father all the time because like my dad sees me as a younger man, like inexperienced or whatnot. My dad has been through his shit. Don't get me wrong. Right. But like, yeah, man, I've been through some shit too. I know suffering. I know trial as well. Yeah. You know, like, yeah, man. That's my only piece of advice with that.
Damn. Now, so that kind of took place as you were leaving gyms.
Dude, it was crazy. It was like all in one shot.
Trying to understand the timeline. So there's like a lot.
It was like learn my mom was sick.
Yeah.
Cross train with you guys for a period of time, and then my mom is getting like man, it was so weird, dude. Like my mom was fine, and then I got a call and she wasn't fine. Like it was like it wasn't she was fine. It was like
she appeared fine.
She appeared fine. Yeah. We could have conversations. She was tired.
Right.
And then she posted her last social media post was literally like, I'm going for chemotherapy, which is something that she actually didn't want to do. Again. Right. That's like kind of like the facade that I think she was building, where it was like this is like she was trying this was curative measures, right? But it wasn't, bro. I called her doctor and was like, "Hey, man, I've been trying to get a hold of my mother for like the last 3 days. I haven't gotten a text from her. I was texting her in the hospital. I was like, I haven't talked to her in the last 3 days. Like, is everything okay? I can't get a hold of my stepdad. Like, what's going on here?" And the doctor literally said the number one, like the first thing he said is like, Troy, how much do you know about your mother's sickness?
Oh no.
And then I told him, like, you know, the fucking like ignorant me was like, well, like she said she was taking preventative measures, like, you know, we're trying to cure this with chemo, et cetera, et cetera. And then, dude, and he opened it up and was like, this was never curative measures.
No.
It was like this, like it was.
Just make this at least more bearable, yeah.
Yeah, it was literally over.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was, and then so from there, like throughout that experience, it was like, you know, like I don't know. It's very hard to describe that experience.
Yeah, it's also recent. Like that's pretty recent, dude.
Yeah. It's very recent.
It's like less than 2 years ago.
I carry it every day, dude. Like I still don't know sometimes how to deal with it.
Jeez.
I think that talking to people is okay. I think you should do that. I think, like personally, in Canada, I think we have the ability to have that, like to have the experience with like a professional, et cetera, et cetera. I think you should. think you should definitely talk to people when you go through big traumatic experiences like that. Unfortunately, I have some financial restrictions that stop me from doing so.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to. Yeah, 100%. I just try to keep close with my family now, and like, you know, if it's just sending a text to my brother and telling him that I love him.
Yeah.
Telling Richard that I love him. Richard's my stepfather, my father too. Like, trying to get these people in my life when now that I have my son on my way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, like they're there.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, 2020 was pretty shitty. 2021 was super shitty. But pressure makes diamonds, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to like pull yourself out of that, but you have to. Like, what's the alternative? I become an alcoholic and have a terrible experience. Like, everyone else in my life gets hurt with that. So why do that?
Yeah,
right?
I'm already the outcast. Might as well keep being the outcast and go the other way and just.
Oh yeah, like dude, like just buckle down on jiu-jitsu,
yeah,
do the things that make me feel good, and then just go from there.
I got a few people that I can kind of like steer you in the direction of when it comes to like the creative writing part.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
3 episodes ago, I had a guy on. His name's Rod Carley. He's published like 3 or 4 different. He lives and works out at Nipissing University.
Amazing.
As a creative writing professor, but he also published a few comedy stories. Like, that's another guy who's like storytelling really, really good, and like he breaks down how he writes.
Nice,
his 5-act So typically when it comes to storytelling, or Hollywood storytelling, there's a 3-act structure, right? Beginning, middle, end.
Yeah, of course.
And when I say like that, but like, oh yeah, 3-act.
Yeah, 3-act.
Right?
No, I actually have outlines of my stories like
perfect,
3-act.
right?
Yeah.
So he does it in like
the
a
hero's
5-act,
journey is what we call it, right? Yeah.
And he like kind of goes through, and then it's like, but this one guy who's a professional filmmaker, he like world award-winning, really crazy guy, came on the show and he like explained to me in like our like meet and greet chat we did before, where he's like he was telling me, he's like, dude, I'm going to tell you how the 3-act structure works, because my buddy and I were working on like a mini documentary series at the time, and he was like, dude, when it comes to telling stories with film, he's like, look up the Hollywood 3-act structure for filming stories, but when you dive into this, if you really dive into this, it's going to ruin every movie for you. Because you're there. Because
you'll know, right?
You're behind the like.
It's so funny.
There's no twist.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, happens all the time.
And like he explains why like Christopher Nolan's like Dark Knight is like a crazy spectacle of like storytelling, because as much as you have the beginning, middle, and the end, where like Batman fights and then he loses, but he has this comeback story right at the end of Act 2, and then
they call it the lowest point.
Yeah, exactly. Like the lowest point in the hero's journey.
Yes.
But it's like, well, now we're gonna add a plot twist.
It's the best
timeline, right? Which is like, okay, well, the 2 boats, they might blow each other up, but how does that so they put that there,
of course,
to allow us to think about like this. Well, what about, right? And it kind of 100%. Keeps us guessing.
Man, and people are so focused on reinventing the wheel, bro. It blows my mind. Like, stop doing that. If you have a creative process, what works exists for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, dude. My story, like the world that I'm building in general is very reflective on my likes and dislikes of what I like in fantasy and what I like in all those things. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
So it's a fiction, like fantasy novel is the idea, or it's not a tell-all book, eh?
No.
Yeah.
I have legitimately created like a universe from scratch. So it's like
cool.
think of Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings was made from scratch.
Yeah,
right.
Essentially.
Like the world from like where the world begins, right? From like where the world that he created begins, all the way to the timeline that we know in the movies. All that has been created, right from scratch. So like I'm trying to do that, and then incorporating or like placing a story or like a checkpoint in my universe and telling a story within that checkpoint.
Now, do you have I love that, but do you have a like a process you go through to
100%.
Get yourself into into your like creative zone?
Yeah, are you ready for this, bro?
Absolutely.
I sit in the shower. You know how like people love like steaming hot showers? Some people love steaming hot. Dude, bro, I sit in a steaming hot shower for like a half an hour. And just fucking go through the experience,
just
bro.
Think.
I some people do not like silence and like being in their own mind.
Yeah.
Some people fear that, and I I have taught myself through meditation to love it.
Yeah.
Like, meditating is probably, like, one of the best skills that people can, like, genuinely create. And I know that there are some people who, like, don't understand meditation to the degree that they should.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man, 100%. Like, allowing yourself to, like, just let those creative thoughts flow. Everyone has creative thoughts. Like, just embrace them.
You need to get away from this. This puts you in a headspace.
Distraction
where you're not
is
able to
huge.
focus.
Oh, dude, like, and I admit to myself, bro, like, video games get in the way of a lot of my creative process.
Yeah.
I fucking love video games, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the hands down probably the greatest nerd you know. Bro.
Yes.
And it's like, but I accept that part of me, and I love that part of me, but I also definitely understand that it distracts me from doing creative content 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the reality is that it's up to me to battle that, right? It's up to me to set a schedule and follow through with the schedule. 100%.
Nice.
It's the same thing with, like, anything that we do.
Yeah.
You want to do something, go and do it. Set a schedule, right? And so, like, think about this, man. It's Saturday. What do we have to do? Right? Maybe a couple things.
Yeah.
Take a couple hours, right?
Train at some point. Jiu-jitsu.
Here
lift
and there.
weights,
Whatever.
Yeah.
That was, what, 4 hours? Let's say 4 hours.
Yeah, tops.
You sleep for 8?
Yeah, most.
Bro, it's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. Too much time.
It's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with the come home after work, right? 8-hour
Yeah.
shift, and then, like, you sit down, you eat. Okay, well, we're at 9 hours. Well, fuck, we only sleep for 8-ish hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of time remaining there, and we worked full time, bro.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it's definitely about, like, just setting a schedule and just doing it. And I struggle with it every day. I admit it.
Yeah.
I struggle with it every day. Every fucking day, man.
So, kind of to end a little bit, I want to ask you a few rapid fire questions. Right?
Sure. Anything.
So, what is the best, let's say, life advice that you've ever received that stood the test of time?
Lead by example. It's my motto of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay.
Lead by example.
Now, what's the worst advice you've ever received?
Damn, worst advice that I've ever received. That's a very good question. I tend to veto bad advice, right?
Yeah, okay.
And
That's
it's
fair.
just because, like, it just carries a negative experience most of the time. Like,
No,
that person
absolutely.
probably gave you that advice based out of fear, right?
Yeah, usually.
So really, I think probably the biggest thing is, like, the 9 to 5 thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unfortunate because my mother gave me this advice, but, like, going to school and, like, doing the 9 to 5, get a career, grind for 30 years and get a paycheck at the end of the day. Like, I'm not interested. I do not. I feel like I don't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
I do work 9 to 5 and, like, do my thing, but I worked at 9 to 5 with a job that I absolutely enjoy. Like,
Yeah.
I love my job, man. I really,
Nice.
really do love my job.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to feel that way. So I'm glad that I didn't take her advice there.
Nice.
Because maybe I would have more money now, but I don't think I'd be in the same position I am now.
Fair. Do you, what's your best advice for a beginner in jiu-jitsu?
Best advice is probably to go through the motions and check yourself. You know, like, understand that
Nice,
you're
I like
gonna
that.
you're gonna be in a scenario where you're beginning and you're going through the motions of learning technique. Ask questions. Like, ask your fellow higher belts questions. They want to talk about jiu-jitsu. They love jiu-jitsu.
They want to show you
Yeah,
shit.
like,
the
they
more I know,
love
the
that
more I want to
stuff.
share, yeah.
Yeah, but that being said, go to the people who you know are legit. You know what I mean? Don't ask fellow white belts. I know that that's kind of like a weird thing to say, but, like, don't ask fellow white belts. They have a very, very small idea of what's going on. You know, ask the purple belt that you love rolling with. You know, ask the brown belt that you love rolling with. Ask your coach questions, man. Your coach wants to help you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to, and here's the thing, and I know this is gonna sound really funny, but take privates, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're huge.
Go get a private, bro. They're like what? Sometimes $60 to $100.
Yeah, 60.
I get it. $60 to $100 for an hour. You're already paying your membership. I understand.
It's not.
But it's not.
Dude, I'd start thinking it was an hour real quick, and then it'd be like 2.5 hours later.
Man, I know.
I'd be like, oh, I totally forgot. You were good. I didn't. If you didn't pay me, I would have forgot. And I'm like, you're the fucking man.
I know a guy, Scott. So I love Scott to death.
Yeah.
Scott Carter, amazing dude. He used to pay John to just beat him up for an hour. Go for a private and just beat up for an hour. He used to do that all the time. Take privates with John for an hour and just roll as hard as he possibly could with John. But that being said, not taking away from that is that yes, go do the private.
Yeah.
You know, go do the private and focus on the fundamentals. Don't check yourself and stop thinking that you are like here when really it's okay to be here. You know what I mean? Like gradually take the stair step and focus on your basics.
Nice. Now, last kind of thing, do you have any like final like message overall or anything you want to leave everybody with from
lead
today?
by example. I literally
Perfect.
literally live by that saying.
Really
and I know that there are times where I falter from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that I can make mistakes as well. I definitely see that. But yeah, I definitely try to lead by example because I want this world to be a better place.
Nice.
And if I can leave that, excellent. Like if I can leave the hands in my son that's coming in the next 4 weeks, if I can leave a world that's better in my son's hand and then teach him to do that,
amazing.
I can literally change the world.
Yeah,
I know that everybody,
have a ripple effect,
bro. The millennial curse is that everybody wants to change the world.
Everybody,
right?
yeah.
Everybody wants to leave their impact.
Mm-hmm.
Change yourself, bro.
Yeah,
like be the example, because then you give that to somebody else, and then they can carry forward. Yeah, man.
I like that.
Much love, bro. That was absolutely amazing.
Now, where can people like connect with you, find you, and stuff before I say farewells?
Oh man, like Instagram is always fun. I try to like do what you're doing, which is like I try to shy away from like social medias and whatnot. But yeah, if you guys are ever on social media, you know, Instagram. Definitely on Instagram,
Nice.
T Jamieson, BJJ.
Let's go.
Lots of jiu-jitsu content, and then hopefully we can get back to the jiu-jitsu content, making the jiu-jitsu content.
Hopefully. That'd be sick.
And then being able to make like highlight videos of Glenn choking people out.
I noticed that you didn't say choking you out, because that hasn't happened yet.
If you choke me out, I've done my job. Just letting you know.
It's a win-win, eh?
I love it, bro.
Oh, that's awesome. Right on, dude. So I really appreciate you coming on today, giving me your time, and
absolute
man. That was fucking awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Oh man, the pleasure was all mine.
I look forward to you kicking my ass on Monday. So
I'll be there,
dude. Let's go. Awesome. Thanks.